Today I'm known as the giver of knowledge. I share knowledge everywhere I go. I can't stop myself. But that wasn't always the case. Can I take you on a little journey with me to a time before I understood the value of knowledge? Would that be okay? Yeah. So we're heading back to 1978. That was a groovy time. It's fourth grade. We all had bangs, and I had them for a reason, because I could do this in reading circle, and I could hold my book up, and I could make myself really, really small. My introverts know exactly what I'm doing. Because in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, there's only 1 minute left. I'm not going to have to read out loud today. I'm going to get out of this. And why does this teacher insist on me constantly raising my hand and sharing my knowledge? She knows it's here. I love coming to school. I love learning. Why in the world does she expect me to constantly share it? Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Nobody cares. They already know this stuff. What's the point? Thankfully, my teachers knew the point, and they devised a scheme. They invited me to become a tutor, because one-on-one, peer-to-peer, an introvert thrives. They don't thrive in a group. And so I started tutoring students, and they started thanking me. Oh my God, Vicki, I understand. I'm getting an A. Thank you. Fourth grade brain starts to go, aha, knowledge is my superpower. No longer do I want to be small and keep it in my head. I now realize I'm meant to share it. And then I realized, you know what, over time, the knowledge we get from school is powerful, but you know what the most powerful knowledge is? Life. And not just any part of life. The struggles, the challenges, those painful things that you're embarrassed, that you hide deep inside of you. That's where the real power of knowledge lies. My friend Carmen, we had lunch here a month ago. She shared with me some massive struggles she had in her life. I had no idea, and I felt guilty that I didn't know and that I wasn't there to support her. But she said, you know what? Nobody knew because I hid it. I didn't want anybody to know. But then I kind of had an aha moment. What would my life have been like if somebody had shared what they had gone through and shared their knowledge? Maybe I wouldn't have suffered so long. So she decided to take power into her own hands and take her knowledge and pour it out there into the world. And her tool of choice was Facebook. So she made this super powerful post. She poured her heart into it. She poured what she had learned from the super painful experience. And she poured into it the hope of what lies on the other side. That same day, there was a man in a hotel room. He wasn't there for vacation. He wasn't there for a business trip. He was there for one purpose. He was in so much pain. He had decided that day, in that hotel room, he was going to commit suicide. For whatever reason, and I have to believe it was divine intervention, he saw Carmen's post. He read that post, and it spoke to his soul. Because not only did he realize somebody out there felt his pain and understood it, he realized, wow, there might be a path through this. I might be able to take what's here, and I might be able to do that too. There might be hope on the other side of all of this. And that day, he decided it wasn't the end of his story. It was simply the beginning of the next chapter of his story. He is still here on this planet because Carmen had the courage to share her pain, to share the knowledge gained from that pain, and to save another human being. She didn't know that was going to happen. But that's the power of when we share our knowledge. We never know whose life we might change. And sometimes it's one life. And sometimes when we share our knowledge, it's to impact a few people. But sometimes something magical happens, and that ripple keeps rolling. And it reaches more people than we ever thought possible. Some of you may be familiar with J. Conrad Levinson, the creator of guerrilla marketing. That book started in response to his students at UC Berkeley going, you know, Jay, it's awesome. If you have lots of money, you can market. But what does the business owner with no money do? So he decided, okay, I'll create a resource for you. thinking, oh, I can just pull some stuff together. There was no stuff. He had to take all of his knowledge from years of experience of being a master of marketing and create a resource. And in 1984, that became that first book, Guerrilla Marketing. That then took him to San Francisco. Speaking event. A woman from Romania approaches him for an autograph. And then she says, Mr. Levinson, would it be okay if I translate this into Romanian? And this is a time before we worried about copyright and all that stuff. And he said, sure. Didn't think about it again. We fast forward now from the mid-'80s to 2009. Jay and Jeannie, his wife, are invited to Romania to speak. They arrive, they're in their plane, they're whisked down into the limo, and they're in the limo getting ready to head to the hotel, and suddenly they're surrounded by the police and military vehicles. So Jay is kind of freaking out. He's like, oh my God, there's a military coup. Are we safe? Are we okay? And he asks the driver, what's going on? And the driver says, well, they're here for you, Mr. Levinson. So now he is totally freaking out because he's like, oh my God, I'm about to be arrested in a foreign country. How am I going to get out of this? And the driver says, no, Mr. Levinson, you're a national hero. He's like, what? How am I a national hero? I've never been to Romania. But he had. His knowledge had. That book was translated into Romanian. And during the communist rule, it was circulated through the underground to the business owners, to the common people who had never known anything other than communist rule. And it inspired hope. It gave him that sense of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, to succeed outside of a communist government. And in 1989, the people of Romania overthrew the communist government and took the power back. And they credited that partly to J. Conrad Levinson in giving them the hope and the belief that they could succeed no matter what. We never know how far our reach might be when we share our knowledge. It might save one person. It might transpire in saving a whole country from being oppressed. So I invite you right now to hold inside of yourself that not only is my knowledge my superpower, your knowledge is your superpower. And with more ways than ever to share your knowledge today, I want you to get it out of you, out of that fourth grade Vicki mindset of it doesn't matter, nobody wants to hear what I have to say, to knowing that you can be like Carmen and you can be like Jay. And I invite you to be the ripple that changes someone's life. Thank you. I'm Vicki Ibaugh, the Course Creation Coach.
Wow.